What's up, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to another video. For those who are new, welcome to my channel, Woke from the Narc, Awaken My Spirit. Today, I just wanted to talk about not losing hope. Not losing hope in what God has promised you. I don't know you guys individually. I don't know, of course, what God has promised you. But whatever it is, you know that thing. For example, it could be a child. It could be a husband. It could be a wife, things of that sort. And I know time can pass. It could be months and years. And you're just thinking to yourself, I feel that God has told me these things. Why isn't it happening? That's when you just have to submit to the fact that his timing is not always our timing. Most of the time, his timing is not our timing. But it's trust that he knows the perfect time and he knows what he's doing. But let me get back to when I was talking about a husband or a wife, or say it could be a boyfriend or girlfriend, and say that you're praying to God and he said that he would give you these things. Just know, if it's an ex relationship and say there was some separation and you're praying to God and he has told you that he will give you these things, just make sure that you understand that sometimes it's not always the same person. It's not always the same person that you're with. And going back on the time, saying that sometimes when months pass or years pass and you just see nothing changing, you don't see the promise being fulfilled. Sometimes you got to look at it as, God removed this person from you for a reason, and that he's bringing someone new into your life. And this new marriage, this new relationship will happen. This divine connection will happen, but it just takes time. But during the season of waiting, it's just very important to continue to pray. You can never pray enough about the same thing. The Lord knows what your heart desires. He knows that this thing that you're praying for is very important to you. He understands that. But aside from praying for this thing, every day, just show gratitude. Thank the Lord for the things that you have. Thank the Lord for just the things that we all take for granted. Waking up every day, being able to breathe, having fresh air, having a place to live, having transportation. Gratitude goes a long way. While you wait for the Lord to come through with his promises, showing gratitude each and every day and just being grateful. Those blessings, those things you're waiting for, it could be double. It could be more than you can imagine. Because trust the promises that God brings into your life. Nothing man can do, nowhere near compares to what God can do. So, that's what we think. That's what we tend to think, because, our thinking as human beings is so minute compared to the Most High's wisdom and his ways. And we think when God is telling us we're going to be blessed with these things, when we see something that seems to be good, we think that's it. But, sometimes we just got to realize that, hey, the reason why it's taking so long is because God is preparing me, and God is going to, completely blow my mind when he comes through at the right time. And I'm, focusing maybe too hard trying to find it while I'm waiting. You know what I mean? Like, God promised you something, and over a certain period of time, you become impatient. So you're searching for this thing, and maybe that person, for example, gives you the time of day, gives you the attention you're looking for, you think, oh, well, this is the blessing that God told me that he had for me. Maybe I had to go out and search for it, look for it. And you don't have to do it. The truth of the reality is you don't have to do it. You know, your impatience when you're in God. I like to say, God's waiting room. When you're in God's waiting room, your impatience. If you think you know what God's telling you, or if you think God's telling you, if God is telling you that He is going to do something in your life, just have faith. But with that faith, if you think that it's taking too long, you decide to make a move yourself, you're stepping out of alignment. You're stepping out of that will. You're stepping out of that promise. Not saying that promise is lost, but you're adding, you're taking a detour. You see what I'm saying? You're taking a detour from being in alignment in the first place. And sometimes, depending on the situation, you'll reap the consequences of it. But with God's love and His mercy, He will always, build you back up. Always. So that's why, it's important while we're in this time of this waiting, just not to lose hope. Talk to God. Don't just pray. I said pray about the thing that you believe that God has spoken to your life every day, but don't just pray about these things. Speak to Him, talk to Him. Talk to Him about life, how you're feeling. He knows everything. He knows every thought. Anyways, He knows how you feel each and every day. Even your deepest, darkest secrets, of course. Everything. I don't even have to explain. Just the whole nine. He created you. He's your Father, so He, of course, knows every little detail about your life. But communicate with Him just about just how you're feeling. That's the connection He's looking for anyways, while you wait. And, just think about it in a sense of you're talking to God each and every day, being grateful, showing gratitude. And He's just, behind the scenes, writing down every single thing in regards to how just loving you are and how patient you're being, and you showing no matter what that you're serving the Most High. Like, He's jotting these things down because He's just like, what, this person has character. My daughter has character, my son has character. While he waits, he is waiting. He's waiting patiently for this promise to come to pass. He is faithfully waiting for me to fulfill the promise that I have bestowed upon him or her. And as they wait, not knowing when a promise is going to happen, they're speaking me each and every day about their life. They're seeking communication. They're seeking a relationship. They're seeking that bond. They're seeking that comfort. Just imagine the Lord, what I'm saying? I can only imagine that's how He feels when people are not just praying for the things that they want alone, but praying for the things that they want or expect God to deliver, on top of just talking about life and, of course, being grateful and just saying and telling the Lord how, grateful you are for His grace over your life and just His protection and His mercy and His forgiveness. Beyond what anyone could ever imagine. Because, we're never without sin. While we're living this life, while we're in these bodies, we're never going to be without sin. And the fact that we have a gracious God that's forgiving us, willing to forgive us each and every time, especially if we are striving to change, that's the key. Striving to change. Not praying to God, oh, forgive me, and you just keep doing the same thing. Oh, you know what I'm saying? But you have no desire to change. That God knows that. So for those people, and I'm getting a little off topic, but for those people who think that they can continue living this habitual sin, or keep continuous habitual sin and just asking God for forgiveness, but have no true intent of changing. They just think, oh, well, if I just pray and ask for forgiveness, all is good. You're sadly mistaken. I'm just being completely honest with you. You're sadly mistaken if that's what you think. But anyways, back to just stay strong in your hope, stay strong in your belief. God is very present, very so much real in your life. And, you know, during this time of just expectation, just reflect on if what you're hoping for is really what he promised you to begin with. And just reflect on his goodness and, of course, scripture about prophets, you know, what they went through, and, you know, the story of Job and what he went through. And, of course, Abraham, how long he had to wait for him to have the son that God has promised him, Isaac. I think Abraham was like 100 years old, I believe. And I think the promise was made to him when he was, I want to say he was 75 or 50. I could be wrong. I'm not trying to state these as facts. I just believe it's somewhere between 50 and 75. Anyone who knows, please drop that down below. But I think it's somewhere between there. But Abraham, he waited, I think, 25 years for the promise to be fulfilled in his life. Could you imagine? Could you imagine waiting that long for something that God has told you? I feel like most people will lose their mind these days. Abraham, that's a true man of faith. And that's the example, you know, he's an example, and that's what is really good for us to have as far as scripture, because that's an example for us to kind of to live by, you know, the faith of Abraham. So that's all I got for this video. I thank you for everyone who's tuned in. I appreciate just all the support that I've been receiving. It's just nice to have a platform to be able to share just, you know, my faith and my walk with God and the stuff that I experience, and just the truth about the Lord, and, you know, what he wants and hopes for as many people as possible to come to him. That's what he hopes for. Well, until next time, YouTube, thank you again. I'm about to go get something to eat. Later.